Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. And let me repeat that just again for the folks watching at home. Welcome back to the CNT podcast. My name is Tommy Terrio, and I am joined with
Eli Burns, you squids.
we like our audience. We like them. They're good people.
Squid,
You
squid is
can't
supposed to mean cool.
see I'm not with the hip terminology these days, so my apologies for that one.
Yeah.
But Eli, how are you doing today?
I'm doing fine. How are you?
Doing pretty good. Another day of school, so making our way towards summer. So
Just gotta get there.
so close. So close. Alrighty. Before we get into our episode, for card of the week this week, WBC is going on. It's wrapping up tonight as of recording. You guys will see this episode in a couple of days, so you will know what happens before we do. So that's fun. That being said, a guy who just got injured last night in the WBC, or sorry, 2 nights ago, but still one of my boys, Nolan Arenado, Colorado Rockies legend. Love that guy.
Yep.
I figured it was safer to do it with you on because you're not going to give me as much,
I know Justin would only like a cub.
Yeah, Justin would also only, just trash talk me relentlessly if I were to, have that. So,
Yeah.
not great, but is what it is.
Yeah.
But yeah, so for today's episode, we're gonna talk about the best player to wear every jersey number in MLB history. So just start at the bottom and work our way up. Who is your pick for number 0?
Adam Ottavino.
Hey,
Can't say I've had much experience with the number 0.
as a Rockies fan, I'll take it. And that was one that was interesting because he wore it the most of anybody to ever wear number 0. He wore it for 10 years. The next highest person to wear it was 6. So
Okay.
I'll take it. Love Ottavino. There was not a lot of talent to choose from here. I would like to make the point. They had to have played in that jersey number for at least 3 years for me to qualify them.
Exactly.
Because just to draw on the first example I think of, say we were doing this for basketball, right? We could, have Michael Jordan down for 45 because he wore 45 for one game. But that takes the fun out of it for the guys who actually wore 45 for their entire career and, the whole thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, do you want to move? Let's just move right along to number 1.
Ozzie Smith.
All right. Why do you think Ozzie Smith? What makes you
13 Gold Glove, 37 wins above replacement, plus his flip before every game.
Yeah, plus the flip. Yeah.
Also just a great guy.
Yeah, one guy that I would have done had he worn it for long enough was Sandy Alomar.
Yeah.
As I was doing this research, I found out he wore number 1 for 2 years, but unfortunately he didn't wear it for long enough. But yeah, I think that's the right way to go as well. I think that he's a pretty easy choice.
Justin would totally diss us though because he was a Cardinal.
Yep, Justin still isn't a fan of us, but hey, that's okay. One guy that I think deserves some like a shout out, if you will. Comment on this as you will, but Carlos Correa.
I could see him on there.
I don't think he's number 1 by any means, but
no pun intended.
Yeah. That was good. I don't know. I don't think it's a terrible idea. I don't think he's the right choice, but I think he has to be up there for sure.
Yeah, as far as today's players.
Let's see if there's I was trying to think if there's anybody else that really wore it that I think really deserves mentioning, and not really. I think Ozzie Smith was the right choice. Number 2.
I'd have to say Derek Jeter.
Yeah, I think it's Jeter. I mean, who? I mean,
Who else?
unfortunately, really, who else? I mean, whether you like Jeter or not, whether you think he's overrated or not, you can't deny the guy's legacy and just how good he actually was.
Yeah, even
Um,
as a Red Sox fan, I have to admit he was pretty damn great.
exactly. I mean, what didn't the guy do? That's the real question when it comes to
Bad
Jeter.
defense.
His defense was. I don't think his defense was as bad as people say it is, but that's just me.
Case in point, that 2001 playoff game against the A's, that flip play.
Yeah, but I mean, it does go beyond that. I would like to make that clear. It does go beyond just that. Because that is what all people, everybody remembers him for, but there is so much more to it than that.
Mm-hmm.
All righty. Number 3,
Never no contest and another Yankee, Babe Ruth.
Babe Ruth. Yeah. Hey, Red Sox legend Babe Ruth.
Boston Braves legend Babe Ruth.
Sorry.
I actually have a picture of him in a Braves uniform that I believe my great grandpa had.
Nice. And then A-Rod second.
Yeah, you could say A-Rod. Yeah, A-Rod's up there, though. He'd be further down the list for me.
Number 4.
Sticking with Yankees, Lou Gehrig.
Yeah. I think it's Lou Gehrig, or it could be Rogers Hornsby too. I think Rogers Hornsby is another viable option for that one.
Another one, old timer, Mel Ott.
All right. Now, for those of you at home, I want you to think. I want you to think about it. Think back to the last time you heard Mel Ott's name. I would like to remind you that time is never. No one ever talks about Mel Ott. The guy is completely irrelevant when it in modern baseball discussions. 5'9", 170 pounds. This man was not exactly a physical specimen. Wait, the guy hit 304, 511 homers, but you do not hear Mel Ott's name come up a lot anymore.
Agreed.
Next we got number 5.
Pujols. Though that is a tough one.
Yeah. I don't know if you really do you really want to cop out for this one? If you had just no number restrictions, like no number of years played. Hank Aaron played for 1 season in the number 5. But no, it is Pujols. He played 22 years wearing the number 5.
Only one of those to hit 700 home runs.
Yep. Second for me has to be DiMaggio, and then Brooks Robinson, Johnny Bench. This was actually a really good number. Like, here, do you mind if I just go down the list here?
I'd also throw in Jeff Bagwell and George Brett.
Beltre wore it for 1 year, Brett for 19, Bagwell for 15, DiMaggio for 12, Robinson for 21. Archie Vaughn wore it, if that name means anything to you.
No, not really.
I mean, the guy was a World War II baseball legend. Let's put it that way. Luke Appling, Johnny Bench, Al Simmons, Goose Goslin, Lou Boudreau, Willie Davis, Gary Sheffield, John Olerud, Hank Greenberg, Joe Medwick, Ian Kinsler.
Wow.
And then farther on down, you got David Wright and Freddie Freeman. So
it would be shorter to read a list of people who died in history than to read a list of notable baseball players who were 5.
Yeah, that's a lot of like top tier guys there. Love that. All right, number 6.
Let me think. Stan Musial.
It's Stan Musial. I don't think it's anywhere close.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe with Al Kaline. Al Kaline is the next guy who had the qualifying number of years, so I think he's next. But even then, I think the Stan Musial, Al Kaline, like there's a very, very large difference in my eyes, at least.
Yeah. Musial hit over 700 doubles. Fun fact.
The guy was Mr. Consistent.
Yeah.
All righty. Number 7. Talk to me.
Mantle.
Ivan Rodriguez. A very distant second.
Oh yeah.
Man. Mantle, here's an interesting one for you. An interesting interesting take for you. Mantle is the greatest switch hitter of all time, present, and that we will ever see.
That is a hot one.
In the entire history of the MLB moving forward, there will never be a better switch hitter than Mickey Mantle. That is my opinion for you.
Yeah, one of the best of all time.
One of the best to ever do it. By the way, just while we're here, shout out Joe Mauer.
Oh yeah, that guy.
I don't know where your Twins fandom lies, but
They've mostly been irrelevant for most of my lifetime.
yeah.
Either they suck or just lose to the Yankees in the ALDS.
Yeah. All right, so we have a three-headed monster here at 8. Tell me which one you're going with of the three.
As a Red Sox fan, I'd have to say Yastrzemski, but I'd also say Joe Morgan.
And see, I'm going the third one. I'm going Ripken. Ripken was Mr. Consistent.
You just said that about Musial.
And day out. Okay, Mr. Consistent. Mr. Consistent
There.
Day in and day out, you knew that you were going to go see Cal Ripken play some baseball.
Of course.
That's my pick. I think though that it could be any of the three. Yastrzemski did wear it for the longest, and then Ripken, and then Morgan.
Yeah. Morgan, in my opinion, is the most underrated second baseman of all time.
Morgan's the only one of those three to wear it for multiple teams, though, interestingly. He wore it for the Reds, Astros, Giants, Phillies, and Athletics.
Quite the traveler.
Yep, he made it around. Number 9.
9.
I mean, you're a Red Sox fan. This
Ted
is the
Williams.
easiest pickup.
It's
This
gotta
is the
be
easiest.
Ted Williams.
I was like, this is it right here. If he is going to pick any guy, it was like, all right, Ted Williams.
He is number 9.
The next best qualifying guy, by the way, is Reggie Jackson.
Oh yeah, one of my favorites to watch his highlights.
Yes.
Even
Mr.
as
October.
Even as a Red Sox fan, his performance in Game 6 in '77 always will be remembered.
I mean, that's one of those moments, like that 07 Sox team that beat us, obviously, I didn't like that, right? Where is it? Right there. I didn't like it, but like, I really appreciate just how good that team was. You know what I mean?
The 77 Yankees.
77 Yankees, the 07 Red Sox, like any of these teams, no matter how much, I'm frustrated by the fact that they beat us. Like I respect it, I respect just how good they were.
Yeah. Same with the 95 Braves, you could say.
Say that again?
You could say that with the 95 Braves. They beat the Rockies in the playoffs.
Yeah, I don't hold as many hard feelings. That wasn't, the Rocktober, like.
You weren't even alive, though.
I was not alive. All righty, number 10.
Lefty Grove.
I saw Lefty Grove, and I was looking at this and was like, oh, Lefty Grove has the higher WAR and all that. And then I was like, forget that. I love Chipper Jones.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, Chipper Jones was, man, I was about to say Mr. Consistent again, but 303 batting average, 468 home runs, 85 whip, and he could have made it even farther had he, not had to deal with the lockout in 94.
Yeah.
I like to point out there's really nobody that much closer. I mean, Johnny Mize is the next closest guy. And, Johnny Mize, good for him and all, but he was not either of those two. But I think it is easily one of the, it has to be one of those two, right?
Chipper or Lefty.
Yeah.
Yeah. Number 11 would be Barry Larkin.
Yep. What do you want to say about Barry Larkin? Because, this is a shortstop who did everything except hit home runs. He wasn't a big home run guy.
Yeah. Great player. You could also say Edgar Martinez.
Something cool is he is a Cincinnati boy. Like he was born in Cincinnati, went to a Cincinnati high school, went up to Michigan, interestingly, for college, and then came back down in his homecoming
Red.
to go come back and play for the Reds.
Yeah. But as I was saying, Edgar Martinez could also be up there.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, if you want to talk about team legends, I think he surpasses that among anybody else, but that's just me.
Definitely the cult hero for Mariner fans.
Yep, indeed. I can confirm. Number 12,
Roberto Alomar.
Wade Boggs.
Hmm.
How is it not Wade Boggs?
I'm on a CBS Sports article about this.
How is it not Wade Boggs?
They said Alomar.
I just think it's Wade Boggs just because, I mean, granted, he didn't play as many years in it as Alomar did, but I just think Wade Boggs is a better player than Alomar, to be honest with you.
I'll agree with you.
Number 13.
Gotta say A-Rod.
Yeah. I don't think it's anybody else, really.
Much as I love the guy.
Yep. Interestingly, the next highest qualifying player by WAR is Manny Machado. Which I would not expect, but hey.
Another one could be Tony Perez or Fred McGriff.
No, I don't think it's close on it. I mean,
no, it's A-Rod and everyone else.
With A-Rod, yeah. A-Rod was just special.
14, I'd have to say Pete Rose.
Yeah, the guy played 24 years in the number. I made the comment about Mr. Consistent, but 24 years.
Wow.
He would not stop playing either. Like that was he just, didn't stop. Ernie Banks is second, by the way.
Yeah. I'm sure Justin would emphatically point that out.
Well, yeah, I think Justin would love that. After that, you got to give a shout out to Larry Doby and Jim Rice. So yeah. Larry Doby's actually
second black player.
Cleveland. Yeah, Cleveland legend Larry Doby.
Yeah, and Boston legend Jim Rice.
Yeah, a little bit less so, but
he was good.
Yeah. Interestingly, for number 15, the highest qualifying player is Carlos Beltran.
That's what this article said.
Because Randy Johnson wore it, Frank Thomas wore it, Johnny Mize wore it, Barry Larkin wore it, Ron Santo wore it, but all for a year, year to 3. And, going off the more than 3 criteria, Carlos Beltran's the highest, but,
I think he's pretty underrated.
Yeah. I don't know why he isn't given more respect in the long term.
I think it's because of the whole cheating scandal.
Yeah. Unfortunately, yeah. That's just kind of give you, a tarnished reputation. Wasn't that as a manager, though? He wasn't doing it as a player?
He was with the Astros for his final season when they won with the cheating, but
that's right. I forgot about that. Yeah,
he was supposed to manage the Mets in 2020, but the whole thing.
That's what it was. He was supposed to manage the Mets, so they, stopped him from doing so. All right, 16 is a very sad number when it comes to it.
Whitey Ford.
Yeah, your top options are Ted Lyons and Whitey Ford.
I got to go with Whitey Ford.
$5 if you can give me a couple, fun facts about Ted Lyons.
He's dead.
All right. What else you got for me?
That's all. I don't even know if he's dead.
He is dead. He died in the 80s. He's been dead for a while.
Yeah.
Yikes. But yeah, Whitey Ford. This was really a barren number. Like people don't really choose like 6. A lot of it, it's gonna take us a minute before we get to like to the early 20s before we start getting good again.
Yeah.
Actually, forget this. Who am I kidding? Number 17 is the easiest pick of them all for me.
Oh yeah. I think I know this one too. It's got to be Todd Helton.
Come on. Who else would it get that man in the Hall? Get this man in the Hall of Fame. The fact that he was not put in the Hall of Fame this year is stupid.
Yes. You could
This
also
man has done more. His road OPS is better than so many other legends, and yet no one recognizes it. So, oh, he's in Coors. What does it matter? Larry Walker got inducted. Like, the fact that the Coors bias is still going on baffles me. It drives me insane.
he should be in the Hall of Fame for sure.
All right, number 18.
Another 17, Dizzy Dean.
Dizzy Dean's I feel like Dizzy Dean's liked just for his sayings. Like, he wasn't, I mean, he was good. He wasn't that good.
18, I'd have to say the one and only Johnny Damon.
Yeah. Going off of our criteria of more than 3, Joe Morgan qualifies, so I'm gonna go with Joe Morgan.
Yeah.
But Johnny Damon, you're a Red Sox fan, so I feel like you're like,
What he did in 2004 forgives him enough for going to the Yankees.
I think you're contractually obligated to, pick him.
Yeah.
All right, number 19.
Robin Yount, underrated.
I didn't realize he played for 20 years, like 20 plus years. I didn't realize that when I was doing all this. Like, I didn't know that.
Shame he played on a bad Brewers teams, because he was pretty good.
The guy played from 74 to 93.
Wow.
Respect to him, right? I will say though, if we're going off of people who've played, if we were to pick people that played when we were alive, Joey Votto is actually a really easy pick for this one.
Yeah.
Honorable mentions go to guys like Fred McGriff and Tony Gwynn, by the way.
Oh yeah.
All right, 20.
It would be, for me, this article said it's a tie. Frank Robinson and Mike Schmidt.
For 20?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can't go wrong with either.
I don't know. I want you to pick though. Who is it going to be? Frank Robinson?
I'm going to say Frank Robinson.
I was about to show you a ball, but I realized it was signed by Brooks, not Frank. So
no offense to any Phillies fans listening to this.
Yeah. I'm going Mike Schmidt. You guys have some very interesting facial hair, but besides the facial hair, I love the guy. Hall of Famer, 267 batting average, which is actually surprisingly low. For some reason, I have him in my mind as a higher contact guy, but I guess he wasn't. But
Frank
48.
Frank Robinson's the only player to win MVP in both leagues.
That is true. I can attest to that statement. So, if you want, all right, pop quiz. Who did he win them for?
The Reds and the Orioles, I want to say.
Yep, indeed. Who else did he play for? Because the Reds and Orioles were his two main teams. But who else did he play for? There are 3 other teams. No cheating. No cheating.
I know it's not the Mariners.
Not the Mariners.
I know it's none of the teams that joined the MLB after 93. So no Rockies, no Marlins, no Rays, no Diamondbacks.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think he was a Blue Jay either.
Nope.
I'm Mets.
Nope. I'll give you a couple more guesses and we'll move on.
Angels?
Yes. Played for the California Angels for a season and a half.
Rangers?
No. You're missing 2 other teams. You want a hint?
Sure.
Same state.
As Indians?
Yes. I'm not sure how you got the same state when it was the Indians and the same state as the Angels, but hey, you do you.
Well, I thought you meant for Red since Ohio.
Hey, he was an Indian, to be fair. So, but
I'm going
same
to say
state.
Padres for my last guess.
Nope, sorry. He was a Dodger for a season.
Oh.
He hit 251, 353, 442. So, not a bad season for, 795 OPS.
Interesting.
Yeah, things you did not know. Things you didn't need to know either, by the way. Number 21.
I'd have to
Roger
say
Clemens.
Yeah, Clemens.
This is a star-studded number though at the top. Roger Clemens, Warren Spahn, and Roberto Clemente.
Oh yeah.
I mean, those three guys. I mean, I think you could make a case for any of them, but I think it's Roger Clemens just clear and above. The only reason people don't like Roger Clemens is just because of all the drama. That's really it.
Yeah.
Number 22. Who are you picking here? Number 22.
Gonna gonna go with a current one that people today would recognize. I'm saying Kershaw.
Yeah, if Roger Clemens didn't wear number 22 also for 9 years, I would have said Kershaw.
But you went Clemens.
I went Clemens. I mean, I'm
Number
sorry.
one,
What do you want me to say? The guy's one of the greatest pitchers. I mean, so is Kershaw, but the guy is one of the greatest pitchers of all time.
another pitcher you could throw in, Jim Palmer.
Yes. Here's an interesting opinion for you.
Tell me.
I want you to react to this. By the time that his career is done, Juan Soto will be the highest on that list
For 21.
for 22.
I could definitely see it.
So, all right. So if we're gonna, just for some context, okay?
Especially if he wins another World Series.
So for context, do you know what let's just go with so Roger Clemens' WAR is 139.2, right?
Yes.
I'm just gonna tell you that. I don't know if you actually know that or not. That's not the point there. Juan Soto's WAR, this is our WAR, just to be clear, is 23. He has to get 100 something more in. I mean, how many seasons are we giving him to do this? He
I'd give him
is
about
24
15.
right now, so 14, 15 seasons.
I could see it.
So 100, we'll say, what is it? 115, 100, 107 WAR across 15 seasons, seven WAR a season with some up, some down. I think that's feasible.
Yeah.
That would be fascinating to me if he could do that. Interestingly, his last season with the Padres, albeit in a
He got traded at the deadline.
yeah, I mean, it was kind of a big change for him, but he had, 5.6 WAR, so he would need to pick it up because his highest WAR in a season was 7.1. So he would really need to be dialed in for the rest of his career.
Oh yeah.
23.
Gotta go with some. This one Justin's gonna like. Ryan Sandberg.
I'm torn.
What? Anyone else?
Zach Greinke,
Oh, Granky.
which is really weird to say.
Whatever happened to him? Oh,
I just think we remember just Sandberg more fondly because, nostalgia. But I don't think people truly remember just how good Zach Greinke was for a long time.
he was one of the best pitchers in his prime.
I think it'd go Sandberg, though. I think Sandberg's the right pick there. It's closer than people, and then I think people realize on hearing that.
Don't tell Justin.
All right, 24 is stacked.
Yeah.
Top to bottom, 24 is stacked.
You got Ricky Henderson, Ken Griffey Jr., Manny Ramirez, Miguel Cabrera, Willie Mays, and pre-Giants Barry Bonds.
Pittsburgh Pirates, Barry Bonds.
Yeah.
What do you do? Miguel Cabrera, Andre, didn't play enough in it. Tony Perez, if you want to, shout out farther down the road.
But I'd have to say it's a freeway tie between Henderson, Griffey, and Mays.
Yeah, because I don't know. People are like, put Bonds in the Hall of Fame. Put Bonds in. I don't care. You cheat. What was the one rule that you were taught as a kid? Like whenever you're playing a game, is that you can't cheat, right?
Yeah.
That was just what it was. You can't cheat. These are the rules. This is how you play, and this is what you do.
And somehow you think the 2007 Patriots are the greatest single season team in NFL history, even though they cheated.
I don't care like what you like, like the hero story that he has become. You don't play the game by the rules. You don't get honored as a legend. That's just how it
Exactly.
is. And, you know, he didn't have to do it. That's the other thing. This guy would have been, obviously we'll never know, but this guy would have been a Hall of Famer if he had, even if he hadn't taken steroids.
I agree.
People don't understand how good Pirates Bonds was.
He took
Then he took the roids, and then it became a problem.
he took the Pirates to 3 straight playoff appearances in the early 90s.
No man should be able to do that. By the way, for those talking about Big Papi, Big Papi's impact on the game of baseball went beyond what Barry Bonds' was. Barry Bonds' impact on the game of baseball was who he was, who he was as a player. Barry Bonds,
Papi was a
Big
leader in the
Papi.
community.
Big Papi was a community leader. He was an icon. He was so many other things besides just a big guy.
Yeah.
That's why Papi deserves to be in.
Yeah.
25. It's the same thing. Barry Bonds is still the highest guy, but again, doesn't matter. But it is Jim Thome.
Tommy? Yeah. Another underrated.
Shout out to Rafael Palmeiro and Buddy Bell. Unfortunately, Buddy Bell's Indians career did not align with that of Thome. I mean, they played right around the same time, but they didn't align, and all that.
Those 90s Indians team should have won a championship, in my opinion.
They really should have, but they didn't. They still have a drought. I'm cackling.
Do you not
All
like
right,
Indians?
A couple more shout outs to give. Tommy John, Mark McGwire, and Andrew Jones.
Yeah.
I don't know. Are you a country music guy?
Not by any stretch of the imagination.
All right. Big country artist nowadays, his name is Morgan Wallen. He released a song, a couple weeks ago called 98 Braves. You've seen it circulating TikTok or, social media, and people have been talking about it, I presume. Even if you don't, know it that well.
Yeah.
And it references Andrew Jones. So after hearing his name, I went back and I looked at how good Andrew Jones was. We forget just how good Andrew Jones was. Andrew Jones deserves a lot more respect for just how good he was.
Oh, yeah.
All right, 26. As a Red Sox fan, this should be easy. Don't overcomplicate this.
Boggs.
Thank you. I don't know which number it was, but you kind of got me scared for a minute with your earlier not pick of Boggs. So I was, kind of
I
worried.
saved him for 26.
Yeah, I'm not too concerned about, doubling up or anything else. I mean, if you're good in two different numbers, you're good in two different numbers. So
I don't like picking the same player twice.
that makes sense. I can stand by that. All right, 27 is a softball.
This, I'd actually say Scott Rowland.
That is some of the biggest BS I have ever heard in my entire life.
Really?
It is Captain America, it is Mike Trout, and nobody else.
Oh, yeah.
Mike Trout just clears everybody else. Shout out to Carlton Fisk, by the way. But Mike Trout is just better. Sorry.
Perhaps the best player of his generation. Get him out of the Angels, please.
Save this man. Save this man.
Imagine if Mike Trout played at Coors. Then his numbers would be way higher.
That's a scary thought. All righty. Here's one for you.
28?
Number 28 is kind of sparse.
I'd say this article said Burt Blyleven.
Could you talk to me about Burt Blyleven? Because I've never heard that name before. I mean, complete and full transparency. I don't know Burt Blyleven.
He had 3,701 strikeouts, 60 shutouts, and more 1-0 shutouts than anyone in half a century.
Wow. Impressive.
Yet he played on some awful Twins teams.
Well, yeah, that's probably why I've never heard of him. I mean, we're talking about the 70s, early to mid 70s and late 80s. He went back home. Late 80s Twins. Like these teams were not good.
They did get a World Series win in '87, but that was at the tail end.
Yeah, but I'm talking about that first stretch from 71 to 76. Blech,
Nothing.
terrible.
Yeah.
All right, 29. This one makes me happy. I love this guy.
Beltre?
Adrian Beltre.
Oh, yeah.
Now, here's a guy who just has fun with the game. If you haven't seen it, go on YouTube and look up Adrian Beltre and then fun.
Yeah.
I mean, they're right next to each other. I mean, it's super. I mean, he was just such an awesome guy.
Deserved to win a World Series. Did he win?
Here's something for you.
Yeah.
Satchel Paige.
Oh, yeah.
Because when he came into the MLB, he wore number 29 for 6 seasons. Unfortunately, he just didn't play in the MLB that long.
Yeah.
That being said, so I guess this comes down to the question of if we include the Negro Leagues, it is Satchel Paige to the moon. The guy is the greatest. I mean, if we're including the Negro Leagues, he's the greatest pitcher of all time, and it isn't close.
Yeah.
This guy's dominance of the Negro Leagues was unparalleled.
He was one of the best. 30. This is another complicated one.
It depends on how you. Oh, actually, nah, I'll take the cop out. Ken Griffey Jr.
He wore 30?
He wore 30 for 6 years in Cincinnati.
I could definitely make that argument, but I said I don't like picking players twice, so going to go with
Oh,
Tim
because you picked
Raines.
him for 24.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Going to go with Tim Raines.
So there's really 3 guys you could choose. You could go with the cop out answer of Ken Griffey. You could also go with Nolan Ryan or Tim Raines. It really comes down to how do you what value do you put on Nolan Ryan?
Great pitcher, 7 no-hitters, but just couldn't get it done in the playoffs.
And a lot of walks, a lot of walks.
And a lot of allowed home runs.
That being said, he does have a World Series to his name.
Oh, yeah, with the Mets.
With the Mets in 69.
Forgot he was a Met for a sec.
Well, yeah, it wasn't really a relevant time. 31. This is an easy one.
Oh, yeah, you got to go with the professor, Greg Maddux.
Greg Maddux, another one of the greatest pitchers of all time. Interestingly, next on the list, for me at least, is Fergie Jenkins, another legendary Cubs pitcher.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, 2 generations of Cubs pitchers right there. They played just a couple seasons apart, unfortunately. There was 2 seasons in between them. But I mean, Greg Maddux dominated on 2 different teams for, in 3 different decades too.
Yeah.
I mean, like 2001, the guy was still doing stuff. I mean, was still throwing, in the 2000 season. Let me find Greg Maddox's stat line. He was throwing a 3 ERA 1.07 whip. The guy dominated for across 3 different decades. That's impressive to me.
Oh, yeah.
All right, number 32.
You could go, there's 2, either Koufax or Steve Carlton.
I just think Koufax didn't play long enough.
Yeah.
It's kind of weird to say that, but I mean, with how long, Carlton played 11 more years.
Yeah. You got to go with Carlton.
Carlton was good for all that time. Sandy Koufax was an amazing guy. He was so good. He just played just not long enough to, make it, unfortunately.
Agreed.
I know who I want to go with, and I know who I'm no, I know who I'm going with. Forget that. I know who I'm going with.
33.
Colorado Rockies legend Larry Walker.
For 33.
for 33.
Yeah, I'd have to say Walker. You could also go with Eddie Murray.
Yeah, Eddie Murray. Eddie Murray is second, but I mean, that's also the homer pick for me. Eddie Murray was great too. Shout out Eddie Murray. I just, the homer pick is Larry Walker, unfortunately.
Yeah.
All right, 34.
Got to go with Ryan.
It's Nolan Ryan. Second, because so many people wore it but weren't, didn't play in it long enough. Second is probably Big Poppy.
Oh yeah.
And then Kirby Puckett. Shout out King Felix next on that list, by the way.
Yes.
Love you. Love the King. Love that, man. 35.
Phil Necro. Underrated.
All right, pop quiz. Joe Morgan played one season in the number 35. What team did he wear it for?
A's.
Incorrect. Please try again.
I know it wasn't the Astros or the Reds. What teams did
You
he
said
play?
the city. You said the city.
Astros?
You said the city.
City. I give up.
I'm looking for the 1964 Houston Colt 45s.
Ah.
For any of
Ah.
you big Colt 45 fans out there, you're not. First off, you're not. No one is.
Or you're just lying.
Exactly. There's the other one. All right. Number 36. Gaylord Perry.
Yeah.
Um,
Rest in peace.
Yeah. That's what annoys me. So many of these guys wind up. Walter Johnson, Bob Feller, Gaylord Perry. All these guys did, acrobatics up in the air. And you're sitting there, and if you're the batter, you could take a power nap, come back, and he still wouldn't have thrown the ball. It was so slow.
Also a Mariners legend.
But yeah, the king of the spitball.
Yeah.
37. Max Scherzer.
Oh yeah.
Max Scherzer qualifies on this list. Next is Keith Hernandez, which shows you the quality at this number. This was not a high quality number.
Yeah. Number
Max
one.
Scherzer qualifies for his 5 years in Detroit, by the way, for those of you curious.
Yeah. One of the most fun players in the MLB.
And honestly, from here, we can really start cranking these out because, as we get into these higher numbers, it's going to get easier. 38.
Sticking with pitchers, going
Kurt
with another Red Sox legend and Kurt Schilling.
Yeah. This is the point where, you and I we can just, start going on these.
Yeah.
Ugh. The only problem is we come up to, like these ones that, are so sparse. I'm going to go Roy Campanella here.
For 39. Yeah.
The guy wore 39, but also, the Negro Leagues and all that. So
yeah. 40, I'm gonna say Bartolo Colon.
I love Bartolo Colon.
Hit arguably the funniest home run of all time.
There's a draw deep left field. It's out of here. Bartolo has done it.
The impossible has happened.
Here's another sports call for you. Do you believe in miracles?
Yes.
Yes. Yes. Yes, Bartolo Colon. By the way, honorary mention of Madison Bumgarner too.
Oh yeah, greatest postseason pitcher of all time.
I was trying to figure out a refute because I say that all the time. I was trying to figure out a refute. There isn't one. This guy was clutch in the postseason.
Just watch the final few innings of Game 7 in 2014 and you'll see why.
Against the Royals, yeah. All right, 41. This is another easy one. Hit me
Tom
with it.
Seaver.
Thank you. New York Mets legend. Didn't he come back to coach?
I think so, maybe.
Okay. There is one option here.
42.
Actually, there's two, and it's very tough to choose between the two.
There's only 142 for me, and that's Jackie Robinson. But Mariano Rivera is a very solid candidate as
What do
well.
you do? What do you do with this debate? Because you have two guys who played in different eras, different positions, different everything.
Arguably the most influential MLB player of all time against the greatest closer in MLB history.
Easily the greatest closer, by the way.
Yeah.
Hey, I got something cool to show you. I don't know if I've shown you this. I've shown it on the podcast, but I don't know if I've shown you this.
Do it.
This is a ball signed by Mariano Rivera
Nice.
from
Where'd you
Save.
get it?
My dad got it in an auction, I believe.
Must have cost a fortune and a half.
I have no clue. Interestingly, this ball is from Save 638. A little bit of trivia for you. Save 638. Didn't mean for that to drop. Wasn't the ball, don't worry. Save 638, which was broke the record for the number of seasons with X number of saves. I think it was 25 or some number of saves. I don't remember what it was, but that's what it was.
Nice.
Yeah.
40,
I'm gonna go. Oof. I gotta make a pick, don't I?
43.
I'm gonna go Rivera. Gonna go Rivera.
I'm just going to disagree and say Robinson just for the heck of it.
There's not a wrong answer though.
Yeah.
Agree. All right, 43. Again, another really easy one.
Eckersley.
Keep it moving. No competition. The next best guy who qualifies is Bill Nicholson.
Who?
Exactly.
44 has to be Hank Aaron.
Hank Aaron.
No doubt.
First on the Milwaukee Braves, then on the Atlanta Braves, then on the Milwaukee Brewers. Homeboy got brought to Milwaukee, left with the team, and then somehow, some way, he chose to go back to Milwaukee.
I guess he likes Milwaukee.
What a shame. I mean, of all
Have
the
you ever
places,
been to Milwaukee?
is not it.
Have you ever been to Milwaukee?
There's nothing there.
Except for beer and cheese.
In sports.
Yeah.
A lot of sports.
Yeah.
Shout
Shout out Giannis. 45. Another great, perhaps Mad Bum's competition. Bob Gibson for best.
Bob Gibson and Pedro Martinez.
Oh yeah.
I mean, that is right there when it comes to, I got to go Bob Gibson.
Even as a Red Sox fan, I gotta say Gibson.
Cardinals legend.
Absolute Cardinals legend. And just take a look at his 1968 season. You will be blown away.
All right, here's some interesting competition for you. One that I did not think we would be having is Juan Marichal versus Paul Goldschmidt.
For 46.
Is Andy Pettitte just because he wore it longer?
Yeah.
I mean, that's what really the tiebreaker is for me. I mean, Paul Goldschmidt is great, and probably in his when it's all said and done for him, will be better overall than Andy Pettitte. Then again, it's pitcher hitter, whatever that's gonna be a tough debate. But Pettitte wore it for 15 years, Goldschmidt's wore it for 4. So
yeah.
I mean, I think really that's the separating factor there.
Yeah. 47.
Tom Glavine.
Gotta say Glavine.
I mean, the next best qualifying guy is Jack Morris.
Only known for Game 7 in 1991. So no.
With what team?
Twins.
What did you do for that team?
Shut out Atlanta for 10 innings in Game 7.
You're gosh darn right he did. Sorry.
48. This one's, yeah.
This is sad.
The-
Wade Hoyt, Rick Royschel, and Torrey Hunter.
Ouch.
I forget any of those guys. I don't care. I don't care about recency bias. I don't care about anything else. Because I don't care about Rick Royschel, Wadey Hoyt, or Torrey Hunter, I'm going Jacob deGrom. When healthy, Jacob deGrom is the greatest pitcher to ever grace the face of this earth.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, he's not always healthy. But still, this man is one of the greatest pitchers ever to ever grace the earth that we are walking on.
Agreed. You could say the same about Steven Strasburg as well.
Don't go that far. That's a little too aggressive for me, Chief.
Yeah.
49, Ron Guidry. That being said, this is the guy has no competition, really.
Yeah.
Hoyt Wilhelm and Chris Sale are the next best qualifiers. And
great nickname as well. Louisiana Lightning.
Guidry.
Yeah.
It is Guidry, right? That is how you pronounce it?
I think it's Guidry.
I think it is. It does. Let me figure it out. Let's see. How do we pronounce this here? Gidry. Ron Gidry. There we go.
Sorry,
that's one of those things where I need to make sure that I say it right because I don't want to, I don't want somebody making fun of me saying he said Gidry. He said Gidry. All right, here's one for you. 50 actually has some interesting competition at the top between Mookie Betts, Jamie Moyer, and Adam Wainwright.
Gotta say Moyer because just how long he was in the MLB.
That being said, he's right. That being said, Wainwright has been in the MLB just as long.
Yeah.
And will continue to pitch too. Like he is pitching this season, so he'll have been in the MLB longer. Interestingly, though, when Moyer finished his career, he had faced 8.2% of all MLB players who had played up to that point. 8.2%.
Wow.
That's how long the guy played and how many different players he played and all that.
Here's an interesting stat. Vin Scully called a game managed by Connie Mack, who was born in 1862. Vin Scully also called a game pitched by Julio Urias, born in 1996. That's how long Vin Scully was an announcer for.
When was Vin Scully's last game that he announced?
I believe 2016.
Sorry, I'm doing some research into that. Last game called by Vin Scully. October 2nd, 2016.
Yeah.
So I want to do some research into that game and who all was on that team.
It could have been a spring training game called by him.
Really?
Yeah.
Nice. Spring training's fun. I really like spring training.
I might be headed to Arizona next year for spring training for my.
That would be fun.
Now, off to 51. Yeah, you got to go with Randy Johnson.
Sorry, but on that. Wow. This is wild.
What?
Just some of the guys. All right. So I'm just looking at this. I'm just looking at some of the guys on this team. 96 from 1896 to 1996 were those years that he called.
1862 to 19. Connie Mack. He managed the game called by Connie Mack, born in 18. He called a game managed by Connie Mack, born in 1862, and called a game pitched by Julio Urias, born in 1996.
That's wild. That is amazing to me. All right, so 51.
Yeah, you got to go with Randy Johnson.
Who else would it be? Ichiro was next, but it's not even close. I love Ichiro. Greatest player out of Japan by far.
Oh yeah.
That being said, it's Randy Johnson.
How can it not be?
52, CC Sabathia.
Oh yeah.
I just really like CC Sabathia. He was one of those guys that I just grew up, just seeing all the time on TV. So, number 53, Don Drysdale.
I'd have to say Drysdale, but also shout out Bobby Abreu.
Yep. Interesting. The next guy that qualifies under our criterion is all the way down at Johnny Schmitz.
Yikes.
And then Melky Cabrera.
Yikes.
That's how easy this gets when we get down here,
Yeah. 54.
Goose Gossage.
Yeah.
One of the greatest closers of all time. 55.
Oral Hershiser. Next is Russell Martin. Or Kevin Appier, depending on how you feel. 56.
Sorry, Appier.
Yeah.
56 is Beerly.
Yeah, Mark Burley.
One of the fastest, like the guy who he just got through games faster than anybody else. Go watch the Foolish Baseball video on him, by the way.
Oh yeah.
57. This one sucks. It's Johan Santana.
Yeah.
I mean, Johan Santana was good, but I mean, the guy has no competition here at the top.
He was front out nasty in, I think, 2004-ish.
Yeah. I mean, if you were facing Johan Santana, you knew, you were in for a rough night at the office.
No other way to put it.
All right. 58. Red Sox legend.
Jonathan Papelbon.
Legend Jonathan Papelbon.
Oh yeah.
Destroyer of Rockies. Pain. Much pain. Much pain.
I saw a video the other day about the 2007 Rockies.
Rocktober, my friend. Rocktober.
Perhaps the greatest stretch for an MLB team of all in anywhere.
Quite possibly. Love that.
Only rivaled by the 95 Mariners, I'd say.
Yeah, quite possibly. Number 59, Carlos Carrasco. Just because I'm more familiar with his game than Ismael Valdez.
Yeah,
but at the same time, no one really has worn 59. It's not really a popular number that's been worn. So, moving on.
60 would be Dallas Keuchel, even though he's fallen off a cliff.
Yeah, what happened, man? He was so good. I mean, this is a guy who was, killing it for the Astros. And now he was on 3 different teams last year. Like, what happened?
Did he just
fell off
after getting out of Houston?
All right, next is Red Sox legend Josh Beckett for 61.
Yeah, you got to say Beckett. Maybe Livan Hernandez, but it's Beckett.
I've never heard of Livan Hernandez in my life.
Oh.
And I don't think after today, I'll ever hear the name Livan Hernandez ever again.
Well, just if you want to anger any Braves fans, just show them Game 5 of the 97 NLCS.
Against
Atlanta, where he struck out 15, but apparently the strike zone was pretty bad that night.
Yeah. 62 is Jose Quintana.
Interesting.
But I mean, the next guy who qualifies is Scott Shields.
Wow.
Do you know who Scott Shields is?
Barrow. No.
He was an Angels player in the 2000s, like the early 2000s.
Was he on the 0-2 team?
Yes.
Have to look into this guy.
63, Rafael Betancourt.
I'd say Ryan Madson.
Colorado Rockies legend Rafael Betancourt. No, who am I kidding? He's really not, but who'd you say though?
Ryan Madson.
Actually, yeah, that would make a lot of sense too. Either way, you can't really go wrong. But I mean, we're getting to a point where we're just up to the easy numbers where there's one guy who did it, and 64. The highest qualifying guy is AJ Griffin at 5.8 career WAR.
Ouch.
I say we don't count that. We keep moving. We just ignore that. That didn't happen. 65, James Paxton, Mariners legend James Paxton.
The Canadian throwing the no-hitter in Toronto.
Against the Blue Jays.
Yeah. One of the most.
He was just destroyed by injuries, though.
Yeah, it's a shame.
66.
Yasiel Puig.
I think it's Yasiel Puig. There's other guys who are better that wore the number and qualified. I think it's Yasiel Puig.
Yeah.
He'll have an interesting legacy for stuff outside of the game, but love Yasiel Puig.
Yeah.
67. We're just going to keep going on. I mean, Francisco Cordova is the highest guy.
Yeah. Same with 68.
With 69, you have
Bronson Arroyo, Red Sox legend.
Yeah, Bronson Arroyo does not qualify. We said over 3, so no one qualifies. Nobody wore it for more than 3 years. That's wild.
70 and 71, let's just skip.
72. I'm enjoying this. This makes our life really easy right here, you know.
Carlton Fisk.
Carlton Fisk. I mean, this one's the easy one. I mean,
Greatest home
68
run in
half
World
war.
Series. Greatest home run in World Series history that wasn't in a deciding game. Wasn't in a clinching game. Well, maybe David Freese, but Fisk's home run game saved
No,
70
David Freeze's doesn't count for that because it would have been a clinching game for
Texas.
for
I guess
Texas. So
you
that
could
doesn't
say
count.
Fisk couldn't count because that would have been a clinching game for the Reds.
Exactly. Now that you bring that up, I'm trying to think of 2018, that 18 inning game, game 3, the Max Muncy one. Was it Muncy? I think it was.
It was Max Muncy.
Yeah, that's what I thought. All right.
I had fallen asleep by that point, so I didn't watch.
All right, here you go. Moneyball legend Ricardo Rincon for number 73.
Oh yeah.
If you remember, that is the
player.
scene where Billy and I can't think of his name. What's his name?
Chris Pratt. No, just kidding.
Jonah Hill. Jonah Hill's character. What's Jonah Hill's character's name?
Haven't seen that movie, so I can't say.
Okay, you don't get talking time for a while. But 74 is Kenley Jansen. You can unmute yourself, Eli. You can unmute yourself.
75. This is an interesting one.
Barry Zito.
Yeah, I'd probably say him. Sticking with that Moneyball team.
I mean, no one else really, relevant at all was worn 75. I mean, I can't think of anybody, 76 onwards that, is really relevant either. No one for 76.
No one really for 77. 78. Or you could say Jose Abreu for 79.
Yes, love that. No one for 80.
Wow.
Do you know how easy this is making our lives?
Yeah.
No one qualifies for 81.
82, no.
82, no one qualifies. I'm just going to skip ahead a little bit here to 90. You can keep going
Prince
there.
Fielder for 84.
Man, love Prince Fielder. Adam Simber for 90. There you go. Adam Simber. Haven't heard that name in a while.
Yeah, you could say Albert Bell for 88.
Alfredo Aceves for 91.
Wow.
This is pitiful.
This is ouchie.
I guess we kind of invited this upon ourselves when we said, do all jersey numbers.
Yeah. I do have one for 99. Manny Ramirez for the Dodgers, but that was only 3 years.
We'll count it with how sparse it's been. All right, you ready for this?
Ready for what?
Bill Voissel.
For what number?
For 96.
Whoa.
For the Boston Braves. Joe Beimel for 97. And with 98, only 2 guys have ever worn it. Here, pop quiz without looking it up. Who are the only 2 players wearing 98 in the history of the MLB?
Onelki Garcia and
this guy played for the Yankees 2 years ago.
No clue.
Hoy Park.
Oh.
And if you were curious, you don't need to know who Hoy Park is. He hit 201 in his MLB. He's hit 201 in his MLB career with a negative .5 WAR.
Interesting.
But yeah. Thanks for taking that little tour with us, everybody, for throughout baseball history and looking at some jersey numbers. Apologies for the lack of players at the end, but hey, if you want to make a name for yourself and you want to be the best guy by the jersey number, go with anybody in the 80s, right? Really. Besides 84, anything in the 80s is fair game, and you are going to be the greatest of all time.
Do it.
Do it. simplify your life. That being said, you want some more competition? Head down to the 20s. Head down to the 20s. There's pretty much talent across the board in the 20s. So, Eli, as always, I dearly, dearly appreciate you getting on, hopping on today with me.
Thanks, buddy.
I appreciate it. As a parting gift, to give, I want you to give, it's tradition at this point. 52 World Series.
That was Yankees over Dodgers in 7.
I think I could name you pretty much any year, and there's a pretty good shot that it's the Yankees. So,
yeah.
How many World Series do you think there's been? 1903 was the first one.
Yeah, that would just do
1903 to 2022 -2 or minus no.
No 1904 and no 1994.
So 1903 to 2022, it's 2022. So it's 117 World Series.
I want to say.
So 117 World Series, right?
Yep.
Going off of that, 27 over 117. 23%. The Yankees have won 23%. Nearly a quarter of every World Series has been won by the New York Yankees.
Yep.
More you know.
Add in the Cardinals, and that's an even bigger chunk.
The Cardinals are what, 16?
11.
11. So 38. That is 32.5% of every World Series been won by 2 teams. You want to talk about dynasties? Baseball is a dynasty sport, my friend.
Yeah. Yet no repeat champion since the Yankees, and they won 3 in a row from 98 to 2000.
Yep. But no repeat champion since. Before that, I couldn't even tell you the last one was before that, though.
I think it was Toronto. Want to say Toronto in 92, 93.
Yeah, no one else repeated after that. I think in between the two. So, oh well, Eli, thank you so much again for coming on. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for watching. We greatly appreciate it. As always, we will see you all next week. Peace.